I hope it will take like 1 to 1.5 hours, and we will talk about some method in here, because I heard some of your viewers want to talk about method, and I think that's great, because that's how if we want to evolve, transform, we need method, and that's the most important part of this, of course. Now we'll go into it, and we can maybe do a third part where we go into it even more deeper.
I love it. Wonderful.
And focus on almost only on method. This time around, I want to explain a couple of things with the method, why I've come to conclude what I have come to conclude, like why have I gone to the left-hand path, and so on.
Okay, beautiful. Exciting.
So we can do a third part, and then we can do a perfect continuation of this into more deeper method.
They would love that. Absolutely.
Great. So this presentation is in 6 parts. Start with part 1, Can I Play with Madness? Part 2, Electric Sheep escapes the machine. Part 3, No Strings Attached. Part 4, Kundalini, the Serpent Power. Part 5, The Blood of Kingu. And part 6, The Sound of Silence.
Love it.
So let's start.
Your artwork is gorgeous, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you, Lola. Yeah, I like to do it with some graphic, good information and try to combine it. Yeah. We are born into light, and we have talked a little bit about this earlier on. And we come from the womb, from the dark, and the feminine energy is the oldest, that the light is birthed from darkness. So we come from the dark. But when we are born into this light that we have around us today, we are born in a poisonous atmosphere. Our air is poisoned, we know that. Our food is poison, our water is poison. And right away we are supposed to be one with the society around us. No one ask us what we want, or if we want to become part of this machine. And this light is about masculine force, right? Now, I'm not talking shit about real masculinity. I'm not like a feminist. I will go into it. But this is a very controlling masculine, and it's not in a good way. It's a masculine that is out of touch with its own with the real masculine force, right? So you have the force building up, and we're going further away from the womb, from the darkness, and further on into a distorted reality. And the aim is to manipulate us and to mesmerize us with this light. Look at the sun, follow the sun, worship the sun or God's son, or worship stuff. Be passive. And you are supposed to love the light and to have fun in the light and play games and become mesmerized by it. Now they don't even need to give us a good time anymore, right? But still, though, if you're into, it is good with the sun, because when the sun comes, we like to play, have a good time, we become more jolly and all of that. But it is not good to have many of us grow through struggle. Many of us have had a hard time as children and so on. So it's important to have the darkness as well. The light can blind us. So we are born into this light from the womb. And right away they start to program you. I mean, even in the hospital where you are born, they start to control and take you away from the mother, all this technology, and then you're out in the society. You get fed with lots of strange shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
Official milk. I mean, there's a lot of things going on there, and start to poison your body right away. You're supposed to take a lot of vaccines. They attack you right away.
Yeah, it's insane.
Yeah, it's completely insane. And now we come to Lilith a little bit, because Lilith is called the strangler of children, right? That's part of Lilith. It sounds harsh. But what is going on here? If we don't understand what Lilith is all about, then it's very easy for us to misunderstand what she means. And when the baby is in the womb, and if a woman is in balance, then she should feel love and want all the best for the baby who are in the womb. And this feelings is that energy, heartbeat and blood of the woman is programming the child. If the intention is good, let's say a mother wants the child to be able to do whatever he wants or she wants. And now I know, not like bad things, but that the child should follow her instinct or his instinct and become a spiritual child. If you have that in thought, you start to program the child with that energy pattern, right? But as soon as the child is born, all that is forgotten. Now the baby is out in the light. Now everything comes about indoctrination, to have the child into society, to the school, and then to work and marry and have children on their own. And that old original thought the woman had when the child was in the womb is long forgotten. Now Lilith wants to take you back to the womb, to the original thought that you were meant to become. Therefore, she is the strangler of children, because she takes you back to the womb. She is the strangler of let's say it like this, the feminists are the real strangler of children, because what they are saying is that when you are born, you should fight for equal opportunity in the zoo as the men, if it is a girl. But who cares if you have 5 stripes on your back in a zoo? Who cares what title you have? Who cares about the money you have? Of course, you should have work, but to be equal in a zoo society doesn't mean shit. It means that the child is there to become equal, imprisoned in the same zoo. They are the real strangler of children, because they take away the original thought a woman should have for its child. As soon as a child is born into light, everything is forgotten and everything becomes about become one with the distorted light outside of the womb.
So the light itself begins instantly to be a corrupter. It's not a true light.
Exactly. And the corrupted light is just waiting for your child to welcome it. All the technology is put in place. The air is poisoned. Everything is aimed against your child, just waiting to grab hold of it. As soon as it arrives in the hospital, it starts, right? So what Lilith wants you to do is to take back your original thought you have abandoned when you strangled your children. I hope it makes sense.
It makes sense, because Lilith is all about destroying the entire, hijacking reality and bringing you back to prime source materium.
Exactly. So, thank you, Laura. So now you're born into the machine, into the distorted light. And everything is manipulated and turned against you. Everything is corrupt. And they're working hard to get you into an android kind of a hive mind hooked up to machine scenario. And of course, this is the ultimate goal. And I call society the machine because that's what it is. And that is what they tell you that it is. In psychology, if you're into behavioristic psychology, then you are a product of society and nothing else. And that's, of course, the communists have taken that to heart. And the communist agenda is the end of the line. That's the perfect machine high mind where you are being turned into an animal without soul. And you're only there to keep the machine running. That's the only purpose. You should own nothing. Even the gender is up for grabs these days. And I mean, you should be a genderless animal zoo creature working for the machine. And that's the end of the human race. That's the end of the line. That is the fucking terminus, I can tell you.
I agree. And I think they have created every part of society to create this. Everything that is literally education, medicine, every single thing. They have done it purposefully to undermine and create this. It's not education, none of it. It's all to create exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. And you can see it in the communist, the flag, in the Soviet Union flag. You have the hammer and the sickle.
Oh,
and the sickle is, of course, Saturn, a symbol of Saturn. And the hammer is Jupiter. And as I said before, Enlil is Jupiter. And Ninurta, Enlil's son, is Kronos, or Saturn is the sickle. And then you have the star, and that is Mars, the red, the yellow. It has yellow outline and red inside this Mars, meaning there are war. The war is against the human race, and Jupiter and Saturn is the one who do the war against us.
It's interesting how they always put it right in front of our face, but unless you know how to interpret and read it, you won't think anything of it.
No, it's very interesting. When you open your eyes and you start to work yourself, you will see through their illusions. But you need to start working with yourself, and a lot of knowledge gives you power. But knowledge of itself doesn't save you, but you should do both. Method is the most important part. Now we have this famous mythology going on with the Batman. And Batman is to serve and to protect. He's the knight. He's the one who tried to save a corrupt society from falling. And he's supposed to be the good guy here, of course. But to be honest, sometimes it is better to have a fall. Sometimes we have to start all over. There is this society we are in now. It has to fall. You can't save it. It's corrupt and rotten to the common core. It's completely rotten.
Great.
doesn't mean that we have to go berserk and kill each other, right? But you have to turn it your back. You cannot fix the machine. It's too late. It's a waste of time. And this Batman character wants to uphold the society from falling. And he think he can save it. He know it is corrupt. But the aim is to save it. And he has to become, this is about Plato and the noble lie, of course, because he has to become a lie in the second movie. They have to save this corrupt society and give the blame on Batman instead of this lawyer Two-Face who is to blame for the killing, if I remember correctly. So it's a noble lie to uphold the illusion of society that is completely corrupt, but the mainstream man can't have the knowledge of how corrupt and rotten it is, right? So they have to lie in order for them to have this society go further. But it's very dangerous to have it going on further, especially this society we are in now, because right now they are putting up technology that will take over if you don't allow it to go under, or if you don't turn it our back. Something has to happen. It is not to uphold society whatever with all means necessary to do it. Sometimes it's better to have it changed.
Look, and so that to me is typical of how they invert everything and brainwash people into believing this is good. This is,
Exactly. Because we are supposed to like Batman and look up to him as a hero. The dark, but still a hero, right? But he ain't. He serves the elite, so to speak. Really.
Exactly.
By hold the society to allow it to continue on. And the villain in this drama is of course Ra's al Ghul. And he is in this secret society, right? But Ra's al Ghul wants to destroy and to recreate. And of course he's the villain. And I'm not saying that he is a hero either, because I wouldn't aim at destroy. I will just turn my back against this. If the human race was just turn their back against this society, it will fall. But because they can't, or they are manipulated to allow it to continue on, like the farmers in Europe, they are protesting against this elite who want to destroy their farms and throwing shit at buildings and so on. But they still tell the elite, we want to be a part of the zoo, please, but we want to have better outcome in it. But they still want to belong, and they fight for it with everything they have, when we should just withdraw.
Right.
No.
This reminds me of Thanos from the Marvel superheroes, and in the story, Thanos is the villain, the evil one who destroys the universe.
Yeah.
And the other superheroes are the ones that are protecting everybody, and they try to destroy Thanos so he doesn't destroy the universe to protect everybody. And again, that's the same kind of inversion.
Yeah, it is. And what they are saying, that you have to show side between good and evil. You don't have a third option to withdraw. You have to fight. You have to be involved. You cannot just back off. That's the only option that you can't. But that's the only option we should do.
Yeah, because that's the illusion. The illusion is that, again, they're playing us against ourselves by saying you can only choose a side, good or evil.
Yeah.
But really, the truth is in becoming neutral. and not engaging in the setup that is purposefully the black and white squares that they show you all the time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And yeah, they're just manipulating us to choose side. You can't just back off.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, that is exactly what we should do.
Great.
Withdraw into our temple and our womb and transform ourselves. Just don't waste energy on this social machine.
Yeah.
They take our energy, and the farmers doing their bidding. Nothing will happen. They will just allow the farmers to destroy whatever. Nothing will come out of it.
Mm-hmm. Right. So this is an example of somebody who is a destroyer and deemed as evil.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I agree that he is evil in that his approach to do it. You can destroy the society just to withdraw from it. Like, then it will fall apart.
Exactly.
Then you need us still.
Yeah.
You don't have to use violence and force.
Mm-hmm.
So in a way, he's evil, but Batman is equally evil, I think.
Exactly.
Batman is saving a corrupt society and working to save it. Wasting his energy and time to save it. And this Ra's al Ghul is, of course, the fixed star Algol. And Ra's al Ghul is the Arabic name for the fixed star Algol. And Algol is Medusa's head. And Medusa's head was taken by Perseus, who beheaded her. And Perseus is one more time here. We see a male light sky god hero defeating the feminine, dark, ancient gods.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's the false light.
Yeah. He's about, of course, order, but out of order, they will start to control us, because order becomes out of control. They become corrupt. I don't trust these gods at all.
I agree. And, you know, the story of Medusa I find very interesting because, again, it's another complete inversion, distortion of even what and who she is and what she represents.
Exactly.
Mm.
And we'll go into it a little bit here.
Great.
Because you have the eye of the Gorgon and the head of the ogre, and that's Algol is the fixed star in the head of Medusa. So you find Algol within the head of this star constellation. So Perseus is above her and cuts her head. And the left eye of the head of Algol, you can call it, is head of Lilith, the eye of Lilith, right? So Lilith is part of this dark feminine archetype, right? Chaos, they have to behead or have in control in order for you not to go there.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you go there, you start to create chaos and you start to question this masculine sky gods, the light. So Lilith is also attributed with Medusa and Algol and Ra's al Ghul, as in Batman. To keep this darkness at bay is what they are talking about here. To allow society to linger on even though it's corrupt and rotten. Because it has to go on. It has to continue. and you're a villain if you don't want it to continue and expand until you're, of course, yes, an android high mind connected to the machine, and then it's too late, of course. So you see in this oldest complete tarot deck created by the Este family from Venice, and this family was a banking family and very rich, and they created the oldest tarot deck that is complete, called Tarocchi Tarot Deck or Sola Busca. And in the card number 13, you see he's pierced the Gorgon's head with a spear through the left eye, meaning he has beheaded the darkness, the chaos, and has it under control. And who do they worship? They worship the demiurge Ninurta, Saturn. Because they don't want you to get in contact with these forces, because that can overturn their rule or control over this matrix. And on this banner it says, Trahor Fates, I am driven by fate. I am driven by fate to continue on the demiurgic matrix through this banking elite family from Venice, the Este. And the Este was intermarried with the English royal line and become the Gotha Coburg Gotha.
And so who were the Gotha in the very beginning of the English line?
It was Albert, I think. Or it was, I can come back.
Okay.
I have a presentation with it a little bit.
Is there any connection with the royal family today to who that is back at the very beginning?
It was changed. Victoria was the last queen of this line. I think we talk beginning of 1900, end of 1800. But there is a clear connection to Adam Weishaupt and Illuminati here.
Okay.
Because this royal family line protected him, the Illuminati, the head of the Illuminati, on their own property.
Oh.
Adam Weishaupt. So Adam Weishaupt came in contact with the Este and this elite family's knowledge about the demiurge and these forces who want to hold back the dark feminine archetype in order to control for banking, money, esoteric knowledge.
Well, banking money, currency, is making us currency because it's basically rendering us as a currency.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I see the star there in the card as well.
Yeah, that is Algol, the demon star.
Okay.
And of course, as always, this star, they used the star and the force of Algol for baneful magic, meaning that they take and distort and turn it against us. If you remember the Greek mythology, Perseus takes the head of Medusa and turn his opponents to stone by this head, meaning they control these forces and use the forces against us. And this is a theme that come up over and over again, the same with Prometheus.
Exactly. Why did they come up with this deck? I mean, to me, this is revealing a lot of their secrets.
Yeah, the deck was. They found the deck 2009, so it was in its complete form. So they didn't want to share it with us.
Ah.
So it was like gone from the public eye, and a man called Peter Mark Adams started to decode the deck, and then a friend of mine called Steven and I had decoded the deck further.
Wow.
So we can have a session with the deck only if you want to. This is a very interesting deck, and if you start to understand what they are saying, then the message is this. There's a banking elite family from Venice, and they want to control the public because they start to see chaos start to spread. So they need to use magic and esoteric method to control the population and to have a conscious reincarnation back into this same blood family in order for them to continue on with their plan over and over again. The same bank elite family, now they can have goals that are hundreds of years ahead because they will always end up in the same family.
Oh, that's profoundly interesting. And I'd love for us to do one also just on the cards, on the decodes.
Yeah, it's very interesting. And that's the reason why, for example, they can poison and destroy for the rest of us, because they know when they die, they will end up in the same family and they can continue the game from there. Otherwise, they could, like, if they ended up in another family, they might end up on a bad track because of what they have done before, but they know where they will end up.
So how long have they been doing this for?
I would say like 4,000 years.
Oh my God.
Their plan is a huge plan stretching over generations, and that's the reason why it seems like that's the reason why they want this power and money under the same blood and intermarry, because it's easy to have a conscious reincarnation back to the same blood family.
Are they a Babylonian blood family in origin?
Yeah, I would say it comes from Babylon and Sumer from the beginning. Yes.
Okay.
So
do we know who they are back then? Can we tell?
We can trace them back from where they came from.
Mm-hmm.
What they are saying is that they came from Babylon, ended up in Rome, and from Rome they ended up in Venice, and from Venice they ended up in Netherlands for a short moment of time, and then England.
And are we able to know who they were back in Babylon, Sumeria, like in terms of a family name, or is there any information about that?
Not so far, but we know some Roman elite families who are very high up,
right,
who belong to this bloodline.
Fascinating. Yeah.
So they have ruled and controlled us for a very long time, and through banking is one of the main control aspects. And then you have, if you remember, from Venice, you have Columbus claiming America,
right,
under this Venice elite families. And they had already discovered America, but they want to claim America under this families.
And why Columbus?
Yeah, it seems to be, they lie. He seems to be a son to a very powerful bishop, if I remember correctly. He was not the one they claim he was. He was with these elite families. Right. And he was sent there to claim America. They already knew where America were. But of course, they have to distort everything and lie and cheat. They knew how to go there, but they had to claim it.
I think that's what they do the best. Claim everything, steal everything.
Yeah. They are horrible people, for sure. Yeah, this esoteric elite. I call them esoteric elite because apparently 99.9% of humanity worship them. Therefore, they are a kind of elite. I don't know how they have manipulated human race that hard, but they have. And because they have succeeded, I have to consider them to be the elite as long as the humanity doesn't wake up from their slumber.
Was there a war that happened in Babylon, Sumeria, 4,000 years ago that allowed this lineage to take over?
Yeah. It is about the Tower of Babylon. That incident was 1850 BC, and Marduk failed with his tower. And I think a lot of Mordecai's esoteric priest class became like, shit, we failed, now we are stuck in matter, and then they become infiltrated through the priest class of Ninurta, Saturn, and overtaken. And they said Marduk had failed, and Ninurta and Enlil is the god, is the demiurge of this material reality, and we can't get away from here because we need technology to do it, and they've destroyed our tower. Let's worship Ninurta as the god of this material plane instead, and let us focus on what we can do to take over matter and become gods here instead through technology.
And through magic, they were able to keep reincarnating in the same line.
Exactly. I think the game is older, but I think that was a huge turning point.
Right.
Where two families of Anunnaki came together, or one was infiltrated, and they had new focus, more focused on this kind of a matrix control.
And do they live longer?
Yeah, I think they can use some technology, and also they use blood and so on to rejuvenate themselves. And
the vampire.
Yeah. But we don't need to be here, and this is very important. I call part 2 electric sheep escapes the machine. Because when we dream, we can have a glimpse of real freedom and power. But when you dream, you can end up in the astral. Now these people have the clutches in the astral as well, but they don't have complete control over the astral. And at least people have the dreams still, and we can see things, and we can have lucid dreaming, and we can unlock things within us. Let's start to question the machine, question our reality, or so-called reality. And the moon is a very important part of this, and the feminine. It's the darkness when the sun has dawned, and the moon is the ruling body. And we also go down, and during this period of the day, you should do your ritual and temple work. I think it works best when your brain goes down into this moody. So this is the time when you should enter your temple and do a ritual, I think.
Makes sense.
And when you go to sleep after the ritual, it is during those hours Lilith comes and visits you, because she is attributed to the moon, and she usually comes to you when you dream and show herself in a very powerful way. If you want to escape the machine, you should go to the darkness or go back to the dark. Exit light and enter night. And the darkness within you is where you will find your answers, not in the light.
I have a question. Many experiences that happen to many people in the dark have a lot to do with demons, demonic attacks, all these forces that come in, and it just so happens that it's strongest in the dark.
Yeah. This is a very good question, Laura. And I have a lot of people contacting me and tell me about attacks and so on. Sometimes it's just a misunderstanding. Like some feel like it's a snake wrapping around them that will drag them down and so on. Mm-hmm. But if you manage to linger on in that experience, it can very often be these forces who want to take you back into the darkness. And there you can, if you can allow yourself to be in that space and observe it, then you quite soon will feel that these forces just want you to go back into your unconscious and start to unlock things within yourself that holds you back. But we react with fear. We react that some force want to attack us. There are forces that want to harm you, so you should discern. Please understand that there are forces who hate humanity. But if you feel snakes, if you feel some force that would want to hold you back, it can be the Watchers, it can be Lilith that want you to linger on in the darkness to start to unlock things within yourself that holds you back. So don't draw too hasty conclusions. Sometimes you have to be brave and observe and be there in the darkness.
So do you think the demonic principalities are connected mainly to the demiurge of the light?
I'm sure that there are a lot of forces working for the demiurge, and I know that there is a huge technology component to this as well. As we said before, a lot of MK Ultra putting things in your head, make you feel or believe that you have met Jesus or aliens that abducted you, and so on. Be careful with what you choose to believe in. Now, this is the reason why method is so important, because now you're active yourself. You have an aim. I want to have contact with Lilith. So when Lilith comes to you in the night when you sleep, you know why she's there, because you have called on her. It's not something random. It's not whoever, but it is Lilith, because you have told her, I want to have contact with you. And I have had rough experience with Lilith, and I'm going to talk about it soon. It's not like a easy ordeal, but you ain't got anything for free. To gaze into your own darkness, it is not fun all the time. It's quite dark, rough. It is traumas, programs that holds you back, previous lives, memories, things you have to work with to transform, and it's hard work. But that's the only way if you want to have true freedom, or true freedom and power and evolution. You have to go through the dark.
So when Lilith comes to you, is it, in your experiences, can it be terrifying?
Yeah, it can be rough. But, for example, she tried to strangle me. And so I felt her hand, and I had a hard time to breathe. Now I know that she's called the Strangler of Children, so I was quite calm about it, and I went to sleep again.
Interesting.
Yeah. My girlfriend thought I was snoring, so she woke me up. So I know I did the noise out loud, but because I really felt her hands around my neck or throat.
And was that her telling you it's her? That's her signature? Like that's her way of telling you it was her?
Yeah. What is going on here is that she claimed you as her own child. Now you're a child of darkness. Now you're Lilith's children. And you have a throat chakra that is about speech, communication, and the throat chakra is above the heart chakra. She's trying to tell you that you have to ignite your chakra system. You have to take everything back. You have to go back to my dark womb and start to unlock your unconscious from within, and to flee the light into the darkness. And as I said, also symbol for that, she said that when you exit your mother's womb, they strangled you, and now I strangle you back. Now I take you back.
Right, it's almost like a death process. You have to die to this.
Yeah.
To go to origin.
Exactly. You have to die and see through the illusion, and that person who see through the illusion has to die, because now everything is in the open again, and you enter a dark place to begin with, because nothing makes sense to you anymore. You have to rediscover yourself.
Wow.
And the best way to do it is to go back to the womb, to the darkness, to the feminine again, before the light get hold of you, before the light started to manipulate you into this false light society.
Brilliant.
The moon and your dream is very important, and the moon is attributed to Lilith, and it is here our journey starts in the Qliphothic tree. So first you have to prepare yourself, but when you do start with the Qliphothic tree, you should start to work with Lilith and the moon and the unconscious part of yourself. You have to unlock your own darkness to bring it to the surface in order for you to see it, and when you see it, you can start to transform it. And it is there, everything changes after that, because the programming starts to break down when you can start to see why you're beating yourself over the head with a hammer. What is holding you back? Why are you blaming everyone around you for your failures when everything is within you? Take back your power, unlock your darkness, transform it, and rise up. That's the message here. And this program is there whether you like it or not, whether you acknowledge or not. The programs are there, ticking in the background, and they animate your behavior. So you have to take a deep dive into the darkness. And of course, that is not the funniest thing to do, but I can promise you, when you overcome it, you rise up and you become more powerful. Just feel that you can overcome it. You can transform it, and you can become something more. And what is holding us back is our fear. our fear of the unknown, our fear of the dark, our fear of our own power, of our responsibility. We want to give it all away. And we are accustomed with the light. We know the light, or think we know the light. And the person who knows the light don't want to know the real light, because the real light hates them, right? They have lied to them. But they want to bask in the distorted light, and they want to have their lies up right front their faces. And they will never go anywhere in this lifetime, at least. And that's the purpose. Don't go into the darkness. Be afraid from the dark. Be afraid from chaos. Be afraid of Medusa, Lilith. Be afraid. They want to hurt you, harm you. We are the one who protects you against this chaos. We make sure that the light is always shining on your face. Or we will convince you with a good cream in your face, some protection, 1,000 you can at least.
Well, yeah, I mean, they're saying we are the Perseus.
Yeah.
Who are there ready to kill Medusa and to protect you from the darkness.
Yeah. That is what they are saying.
That Cthulhu?
Yeah, but of course you should do the opposite. We should go back to the dead but dreaming, because there you will find the darkness. There you will find the ancient gods, the old gods. And of course they are amphibious, water-dwelling creatures, because they are the old memory of the previous matrix before the new one took hold, where our memories was wiped out and we forgot about the gods, we forgot about ourselves, memory loss, language loss, and power loss. But that is exactly what we should do.
So talk about Cthulhu a little bit for everyone.
Yeah, Cthulhu is attributed to R'lyeh, and R'lyeh is attributed to Atlantis, for example, and Dagon. So you have these forces. And I think in the beginning of the Atlantean period, I think it was a good period, but I think it was infiltrated by these Anunnaki gods. Because it seems in the end of the Atlantis period, it was all about technology. Mm-hmm. And that is not attributed to the great old ones. They seem rather to be very comfortable in water, and water is attributed to the feminine. And the masculine is attributed with fire force and power, a scientific language of technology and so on. But the great old ones is more feminine in the waters, in the dark, attributed to the moon, many of them. Now I talk a lot about shit about masculine, but I promise you I will get into that as well, because we need it as well. But for the moment, we have to step back to the darkness and to the feminine, because this light, distorted masculine light, have manipulated us. And we have to take a huge step back into the darkness. And I think that is the only way. That is what I try to tell you. To go back to where Noah failed and the new matrix take hold. We have to take back our memory and understand what happened in order for us to empower ourselves with the truth. And maybe all the gods is like an MK Ultra program but the old gods. Maybe they are the only real gods.
So do you think if Noah would have stayed in the water or not been afraid?
One more time, Lala.
Well, didn't you say something about Noah wanted land? But if he would have stayed in the waters.
Yeah, exactly. The problem with Noah is that he was on to water. He traveled through water 40 days and 40 nights. Now, number 40 is attributed to Mem. And Mem is about water and memory, language, and nations. So Noah traveled for 40 nights and 40 days. But what he should have done was to travel 42 days and 42 nights, because the number 42 is the number of completion. Therefore, we know that he failed.
Okay.
40 is not completion. And what he should do is to push himself further into the metaphysical. He took land. He crash landed. And Prometheus, Lucifer showed me Noah's Ark the first time I contacted him many, many years ago. He showed me the Noah's Ark. But instead of the dove coming back, the raven came back.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
Don't follow the dove, because the dove showed Noah land. Because Noah became fearful of the dark and get in panic mode, and he crash landed in matter, failing to take over our memory to the other side of the matrix. And that means loss of memory, loss of language, loss of nations, and we had to start all over again.
Is that why Odin is represented by ravens?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Odin is a very interesting character. He's an esoteric master, sacrificing one eye in Mimas, the Mimir in the well, and it is water. It is about memory. It is about knowledge. He sacrificed his eye to have memory of the previous matrix who was shut down through the wall. He wanted to pierce the veil to have knowledge of previous matrix who are gone from our memory because they are lost.
Okay.
He wanted to take it all back, be all-knowing, all-seeing, all-piercing through the veils. A kind of a boatman who can travel between the matrix, water. In the Bible, it states that it is water within water, meaning it is matrix in the matrix. And they are dead but dreaming, but they are still dreaming, meaning that you can contact the old gods. They are not all gone. Mm-hmm. They cannot shut you down completely. You will always be able to take contact with the old gods, because in your blood is the blood of Kingu, and Kingu is Belial. And when Marduk defeated Tiamat and Kingu, he fashioned the human race with the blood of Kingu. It's of course a symbol, a metaphor, that they can't take away our connection through blood with the ancient gods. You can always get in contact with these forces, but they can manipulate you to tell you that these forces are evil, bad, and you shouldn't take contact with them. And they are long gone, and it's all myth. There's nothing true in it.
Of course.
But they are there waiting for you. And you take a step towards them if you use the moon and the womb and the darkness, because they are waiting for you there. In the long forgotten, in the old matrix.
Mm-hmm.
And you have a higher self you can get in contact with, a more real you. And you become more God-like, the God within you. We call that part the daimon. That's the higher self. The higher self haven't been distorted by the light. If you get in contact with that, you have more clear understanding of who you are when you are not manipulated by the light. It's like the unborn child in the womb still. And you can get in contact with that. Now you start to take back your power, of course. And you can do this through method. And I will talk about it. Now you start to escape the machine that is prepared for you. When you start to work on yourself, that's how you overcome it. You cannot be passive. You have to be active, and you need a method. It's like going to the gym and train your body. But it's, this time around, you train your spirit or your soul, whatever you want to call it.
The bound soul part of this. Yeah.
Exactly. Part 3 I call no strings attached, because you cannot have any strings attached to this material world. Now, you have your body, and your body is part of the matrix. But your soul, your spark ain't. And that's the real you. But if they can convince you that you are your body, then they have you. And of course, that's the atheistic, materialistic control system, right? You are your body. Period. Then they have you. You're gone. It's as effective as religion. It's the same. But you ain't your body. You are your soul. I call it the light, because sometimes the soul is a little bit abused and so on. But it's the same. Meaning, when your body breaks down, you will go back and return again. But in this life, you shouldn't have your mind shouldn't be attached to the machine. Meaning, if your mind is wondering about how much money you should earn, what kind of title you want to show your neighbor that you have been a success in the machine, now you are a doctor, a lawyer, nonsense like that, it will always take more time from you than you have. All that will just get you into this machine. When you start to try to please the machine or please your ego through money, titles, and that you are an important person in the zoo, doesn't matter. What matters is that you work with yourself through a method. Go back, withdraw. Nothing wrong with the work, but if you caught up with it, if that becomes the most important part of your life, you are lost. And then yet they have you. Consumption, buy shit, throw shit away because it breaks down. Your car breaks down, now you have to take it to all that nonsense. Understand that you can't have no strings attached in the machine. You have to withdraw. Don't fight the machine. Don't use force and violence. Just withdraw. You have more important things to do. You will go back to the womb, to the dark womb again. When you left, something happened with you. You became programmed. Everything was aimed against you when you exit the womb. Now you have to undo the programming. And to undo the programming is to withdraw from the light and go back where the light ain't. And that is the darkness. That is Lilith. And she is the strangler of children because she wants to take you back before you were strangled by society, by the light, distorted light. And there you have to be reborn again, anew, a real you. And it's painful, a lot of work, a lot of failing, stumbling and fall, banging your head against the wall.
A lot of devastation because it would be a mourning of everything you thought was real.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And that's hard. Sometimes you beat yourself over the head with the fact that, why have I wasted so much time? Why haven't I waken up earlier? Why did I went into the New Age bullshit religion and wasted 20 years there?
Yeah.
And we are all about the light, all about nonsense, all about manipulation, all about wasting your time, energy, all about taking your time. Some people who have done that route is thankful because they ended up in the left-hand path because of that. That's good. But many people are also stuck there, playing their instruments in the woods and so on. There's nothing wrong with having a good time. I'm not saying that. But if you claim that that's the method that would save you, you're a brainwashed fool. Sorry to say.
Yeah, you're drugged.
Yeah. If you tell me I go take my guitar and play some good music in the woods, great, do it, have a good time. But that's not a fucking method. That is to have a good time. Method is hard, it's rough, it's hard work. And to think good thoughts, all of that is only nonsense. It's there to make you passive one more time. It is like waiting for Jesus or whatever. It makes you passive.
So how do you go into the womb?
Yeah. We as a human race have to do the dark work because we have come so far removed from it and the light has become so distorted that we have to withdraw, according to me. Now, a good way to start this journey is to awaken your Kundalini and chakra. I think that's a very good start for your journey, and it's not that rough. It can be rough if you ain't do it the right way, because you can be overcharged and so on. Be careful. Do it in the right order. Work with the chakra down and up. That's the serpent path. You can draw the energy up, down as well. That's the down path. Lilith, the left-hand path, is the snake. It's the path of the snake. The snake is arising through the Kundalini chakra, down, up. So you ignite them one at a time. And
how do you do that?
You start with the base. Start with the base, and then you work yourself up to the crown chakra. Right?
So, but what do you do? Exercises? How do you...
Yeah, exercises. And a lot of mantras, resonation. You resonate the words. A visualization. And we can go through it next time. We can make it very detailed if you want to.
Would love it.
Because this is very important in this age, particularly this age, where a lot of people have their chakra system shut down. and it shows people have a hard time focusing. The cognitive ability is lacking. A lot of mental disorders, health disorders, a lot of that. It's not only because of the chakra, but that's the part of the problem, that people have a very shut down chakra system. But the work with the chakra is not that hard. It is more about withdraw to your temple, shut out the mundane world and go into this dark space, this meditative state. And what you are doing is visualization skill. You need some visualization skills, and you need to be able to have some mantras going on. Vibration is important. And then you work with the chakra system one at a time, all the way up, awaken them one by one until you reach the crown chakra. And you will discover that you have more chakras that is like hard to feel if you don't start to work with the main ones. You start to registrate more of them. And this is a very good start on your journey to reawaken from the dark womb and become a much more powerful warrior. One of these chakras is called Sunyata, and Sunyata is a star chakra, and that opens up the bridge to the metaphysical, meaning that your eyes can pierce further into the metaphysical, and it is the bridge between the material world and the metaphysical realms. Now you can ask yourself, why are the elite allowing this? Well, they ain't. The problem is that when they gave us internet, and then when the Industrial Revolution occurred, then they need to educate you, because you need some reading skills if you was going to work in the factories, because they don't go here, it's a dangerous machine over there, but go here instead, because you can't educate a lot of workers with some demanding work and then have them killed off because they can't read. Then they start to educate people, not out of kindness, but because they want to have the infrastructure in place. And the factories and the Industrial Revolution was, of course, a big part of the infrastructure that they had to put in place to have this infrastructure.
Right.
But they have never done anything to be kind. They didn't give you internet to be kind.
Nope.
But they know that when we have this, we can also start to see through the lies, because we can start to find the knowledge they have, and we can start to share. So they know this is about time. Who will get there first? Will we wake up, or will they be able to hook us up to a collective hive mind android machine?
Oh no.
But they know the time is ticking for sure, and then they are a little bit desperate, I think. I think a lot of people wake up. I feel many people are asking the right question. They really see through the lies, and they ask me about the darkness, left and path, that seems to be lesser afraid. And fear is a big thing that's holding us back. If you can overcome your fear, you have come a long way.
Well, and that's why they use fear the most.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And yeah, I think it's all backfiring on them.
Yeah. Yeah. We live in a very interesting time for sure. And as you said, Laura, you will always come to this feeling of the dark night of the soul, where you feel a loss. Who am I? And what's going on? Illusion is shattered. You are bewildered. You feel a loss. And that will always come over and over again. It's like shedding the skin of a snake. You have to die 1,000 times and be reborn. And every time you will be born anew, a better version, a more real version of you. But it is painful. It's not always fun games. But you will realize very soon on this journey that this is the only thing that matters for you for real. Because when you start to feel this power and what you can become, it's very hard to undo and go back. Now you can fail and be stuck because you don't overcome the ordeals, or you are fooling yourself. There are a lot of traps in front of you. But if you overcome all of that, you will just feel that I need this, I want this more and more and more and more, and it becomes your life. But it doesn't mean that you have to leave your family and all that. You can have everything there, but the most important is this path, and your loved ones is very important, but all your stuff, all the things you gave value before, it will vanish. The car is just a transport vehicle that will take you from A to B. You will not give it more attention than that. You need some food, you need a roof over your head, but you will not put your attention towards yourself and inwards your darkness. And it will be the most important part of your life, and your family and friends and so on. That's very important. Your family, the human race, is important. But if you want to save your race, the humanity, the best thing you can do is to work on yourself, is to go within yourself, is to transform your darkness. They cannot shut you down, as I said before. They cannot. The best thing they can do is to make you into an android connected to a high mind machine. But even in that state, you haven't really lost your soul. But your soul becomes so dormant, it's very hard for you to access it. And if they can convince you that you don't have a soul, then that becomes your reality. That it becomes your belief. But always remember, you have the blood of Kingu in your veins, and that is your radio transceiver, and that's all you need. What you need to contact these forces, a good way to start is a red candle and a black candle and a sigil in between, and you meditate on that sigil. And every god have many sigils, but they are attributed to a specific god. So if you want to get in contact with Lucifer, you use Lucifer's sigil, you meditate on it, you have the red candle to the left and the black candle to the right, and that is all. You don't need anything more than that. It's very easy, but for the most part, we need to add stuff, but not always. So when you start, if you want to have an easy start, because some people say, I need this and that, and I need the right date, I need to protect myself, and all of that, then you never start because it becomes too complicated. Mm-hmm. And sometimes all you need is a red and a black candle and a sigil. And the most important part is you and how you go about it, your willpower, how you take it in, visualize it, and tell these forces, I want to get in contact with you. Not like a child, like I don't know. You have to go about it with force, conviction, and show them that I want to get in contact with you. I want to work with you. I invite you to my temple. I invite you as an ally. If you have the right attitude, and if you do it, you will have results.
What happened to you when you did it the first time?
Yeah, it was very powerful. And I was still into Lurian Kabbalah a little bit, to the right. But I got stuck, and I took a book of Lucifer, and I looked into the classic sigil of Lucifer. And I didn't have any candles, no nothing. I just stared into the book, told Lucifer, if you exist, I want you to show yourself to me. Because I need to know. And when I was laying down and started to sleep, he poured an image in me. First he took over a part in the brain. It felt like a wire was put over my head, going from ear to ear. And then it poured in image into my head. And when I was waking up, it was like, first I was high in spirit, and they exist. And then I became afraid, because then it was like, but what do they want? Now I know they exist, but what do they want? And then it took a couple of years. I studied. But at last I gave away my fear and said, no, I can't be afraid, because nothing happens. I have to be fearless, and I have to go about it, and I have to believe that they have distorted everything, and what they deem to be evil are the good, and what is good is the evil. So I just threw it around. Because I saw that that's how they did it, and I thought, I took out the fear and just went about it.
Incredible.
And I'm very happy for it, because when you start to discover the lies and work with these forces, you know they become friends of you, more like, you know, their personalities, and it's very, very interesting. I feel I have very powerful allies, and they are there with me. So you have the blood of Kingu in your veins, and they don't like it. Don't ever allow them to take that away from you. Don't ever allow them to take a spark. If you have it intact in you, you can overcome them. You can become much more powerful than they can. What they can do with technology, you can do with spirit. And they know it. And that's the reason why they try to convince you about these things we have talked about. To convince you never to start. To convince you to be passive. To convince you to be afraid. Especially afraid of these forces. They are evil. They are there to destroy you. And Prometheus, as we said before, they don't worship Lucifer as a friend, but as a chained, controlled force they use through force and violence.
Right.
You can call them the Dark Luciferians, or I call them that they worship Prometheus or Lucifer bound, because that is what they worship. They don't worship the free version of Lucifer.
Right, I was just going to say, it's not really what Lucifer is.
No.
It's the inverted version, the trapped. Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you say about blood transfusions?
Yeah. It's a good question. I think you should be careful with giving away blood and so on for many reasons. What these people can abuse, they do abuse.
Mm-hmm.
And that's also the question I give to this abortion stuff. I'm not coming from a Christian perspective there, but through abortion they can sell, abuse the fetus and so on, and so much going on. That's not a good thing to do. And I think the blood in your vein are holy.
Exactly.
I don't think you should give it away lightly at all.
Is a part of their magic. It's a part of what they're utilizing to hijack you further.
I agree. What they can abuse, they will abuse. So don't give away anything to this corrupts society. There is nothing holy in this society anymore.
Great.
And the people who are manipulated and hooked to the machine society, they will never wake up. So most of them will never wake up. What you can do is to work with yourself. And if you have awakened, and if you understand what I try to tell you here, you have come a long way. Only to consider to go to the dark and into the darkness of yourself, that's a huge step. And to lose your fear is a huge step.
Mm-hmm.
But I think we have gone so far away from the womb that the only way is to go back. We have been distorted, manipulated for thousands of years, and I think the only way to do it is to withdraw, where the light ain't.
Yeah, I agree.
And this DNA thing in this dire age, as you said before, they came here to mine gold, and your DNA is gold. You are the one that get mined. You are the one they have in mind. And be very careful with who you give away your energy and time to. I mean, it's like a waste. And they thrive on this. I know when I started work for real, the shadow spiders came about on my walls and stuff, and I felt completely drained of energy. I was completely drained.
So you saw the shadow spiders just coming?
Yeah, they were growing up when I was waking up, and it was not like I was completely new awake. I followed them. I saw them sit around on my wall, observing me. And when I looked at them, they started to crawl over the wall towards the corners of the room. And when they felt they could disappear, because it seems that it took a while before they could melt away to the metaphysical again. So they tried to flee into the corner of the room, and then they started to sink in. But I could follow the spiders for 15 seconds. So it wasn't like I was new, awakened illusion, but I followed them. And during this period of time, I felt completely drained of energy. They were there to take my energy from me.
How'd you get rid of them?
I worked and worked.
Yeah.
And finally, they started to disappear. But it was a period of 1 year almost. And it was a hard period of my time. And it is hard to start this journey, right? Because you attract different spirits and energies and so on. You have to overcome them. You have to grow and become bigger than these forces, and then you leave them behind, even them. But I know from personal experience that there are forces out for your gold or your energy, that's personal experience.
Do you think that they wanted to kill you?
Yeah, I have spirits who want to kill me. So there are very dark forces out there for you. And they have their eyes on you when you start to rise up. Because now they see that you start to become a warrior. But when they rise, your allies rise. And I will do this all day long. When I feel Lucifer come and knock on my door, not literally, but he has shown me through the roof lamps just flare up when I do something he really like a presentation. He must
be very happy with these things.
Yeah, you get very, like, you feel the power when these forces acknowledge you. Mm-hmm. And I have some watchers, demons, that tell people who start the journey to go to my work. So I have forces that ain't human who send people towards my work. And that's also very humbling.
Right. Your background just lit up too when we were just...
That is what... Yeah. That is crazy. But awesome. They are with me, and I really like, I rather have them as allies. And
mm-hmm. Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it, how they've inverted everything so that you think that Yahweh, Jehovah, is actually the good God, and Lucifer is evil.
Yeah, they are really inverted everything, turned it against you. Mm-hmm.
And solidify it with this.
It's an upside down world for sure.
Right, and then they solidify it with the story of Adam and Eve.
Yeah.
Right, in the Garden of Eden, and the serpent, and the fall because Eden ate the apple. Like, it's just...
Yeah.
Yeah, just, they get you to the point where you feel like you're going crazy because nothing makes sense.
Exactly. And that's also the reason why I tell you it's better to withdraw, just to withdraw to the darkness again, because you will not be able to start to make sense of it all from the light. You have to shield yourself against all the lies, and then go back to the darkness. So they came here to mine gold, as I said before, and that is what it is. And I can imagine also that they came to mine the sun's gold. The sun is energy, and to remove solar energy between different solar body or stars. So it can be a truth to that they took solar energy from our sun and powered another star of their choosing through our sun. And maybe Saturn is a mined sun, a previous sun.
That makes sense.
And I think there had been a huge mining operation in our solar system to shift.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you are a single grain of sand in the dust of Set, meaning that when we come here, you are here to work on yourself. And when you start the metaphysical work, you start to push your fingerprint into nature. But you have to give nature something to remember you from. So before you go, before your body breaks down, if they manage to manipulate you to don't do anything in this lifetime, you will just come back as a random person in the next life, and you are powerless, and you won't remember the previous reincarnation. Therefore, you just come back. And it's very easy to control you if you don't have any power, any memory. But before the sand runs out in the hourglass, you should push your fingerprint into one of the sands before it exits the hourglass. Next time when the hourglass is turned and you come back, you will have a fingerprint and you can unlock that memory and you can continue your work. And now you can start to evolve slowly but surely. But if they manage to convince you that you should do nothing, you will just come back and you will be very easy misled or used and abused because you lack power. You have no blood, that fingerprint, blood print in reality that can remember you when you were here last time. And in order to do that, you have to start to work with a method to take back everything. And that's how they control you, of course. Well, we can see with this vaccine agenda, 80% of humanity went through this without thinking twice.
Right.
People have never start work on themselves in previous lives. They just come back as a random grain of sand in the desert of Set.
Mm.
They have no power. They have no memory. Now, we don't necessarily have any memory either, but if you haven't worked on yourself, it doesn't matter if you remember you were a farmer and get slaughtered. Your previous life doesn't do you any good. But if you have started the work, it's very useful for you to understand where you finished last time. And in this lifetime, you will start to have visions when you're a child. Things happens to you. You understand that something is wrong. You ain't, like, you question society. You don't feel you belong. And sooner or later, you will pick up this thread, this metaphysical thread and the method. You ask the right question, meet the right people, so you can push your way further into this metaphysical journey of yours. And that's the reason why they convince you that you should never start and you should wait for Jesus. Because if you wait for Jesus, you have nothing. You haven't gained anything. You can't take your Ferrari with you when your body breaks down. The only thing you take with you is the metaphysical work you have put out in this life. The rest is gone.
I agree. And, you know, the programming of Voltaire's garden, right? Ignorance is bliss. Right?
Yeah.
It is largely just be happy. Just do your life. It went to the point of absolute ignorance. They're deleting genes, aka they're deleting consciousness. They're deleting you. And, you know, to me, this is how they create the next hive biobot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you have this eternal return. If you don't start to work with yourself, you will be born under Saturn again, and the hourglass will be drained, and you will have nothing gained if you don't start to work. And Saturn is the beginning and the end. It is Father Time, and you're born in time.
That's why they hack people's energy, because they know that energy is literally everything. You have energy to do. You have energy to, but if you have no energy, then people are finding a real struggle even trying to do the work.
Yeah. Exactly.
And you went through it when you had the spiders for a year. So, maybe you can next time when we're going to do the deeper method video for everyone, so that they get really deep into it.
Yep.
You can explain the things to combat all these things they're doing to keep everybody energy poor and energy bankrupted.
Yeah, absolutely. And the one rule of thumb is never stop when you have started the journey. Just push forward, and you will be more and more powerful. You can fall and you can withdraw, but you have to rise up sooner or later. You can withdraw for a month, but you have to go up on your feet again and start to go forward. It's very dangerous to get stuck when you have started to walk the walk. You should go all the way.
What happens if they don't?
You can fail miserably and fall and become even more trapped in the demiurgic prison. And this elite, some of them might be esoteric people who had a good intention, but became stuck even more than before because they fell and they were tempted. They started to use sexual magic for the wrong reasons. And if you misabuse the chakra and sexual magic and stuff like that, you can be possessed by sex instead. And that is exactly what we see in the esoteric elite, like obsession with sex. Nothing wrong with sex and love, right? But if you get possessed by it, therefore, when you do the work, do it for the right reasons and never stop. And don't be afraid. Never answer with fear that if you do it, you can spiral out of control.
But you don't necessarily have to do sex magic for the left-hand path.
No, you don't. And sexual magic is also misunderstood in some ways. You can view your body as an alchemical temple with a lot of fluids. And this energy you can start to use and manipulate and control. You don't need physical sex to do. Sexual magic is like your energy in your body start to move.
I think going into sex, well, this is just me. I don't like the feeling of sexual magic at all. I feel it's very inverted and the opposite of sacred. It's actually like, to me, it feels like it takes you into the hell realms, actually.
There are a lot of experimentation going on, especially in the beginning of 1900, or when a lot of they combined the Western tradition with the Eastern esoteric traditions, and I think a lot of misunderstanding and experimentation went wrong. So don't use any method. Like, you don't have to use sexual magic to begin with. There are other methods. I like to communicate with spirits, use chakra, kundalini work, go into the Qliphothic tree. And with that you can achieve, huge method. And second, we are all different. Some of us is good with some method and others with others. And also you can choose to not to use some methods like sexual magic if you feel awkward by it. You don't have to.
I just like the clean, that's my sacred universe. Like, I don't know, to me it feels so corrupted. That's just me. I like my Buddhistic way.
Yeah, I think you should be very careful with it if you are going to use it at all. Now, what is at stake in this dire age of ours? And to finish the presentation, we are in an apocalyptic situation, and the human race will transform into a new image. Either you transform through your spirit and you evolve on your own accord and through your own will, or a certain esoteric elite will devolve you. Either way, you will change, and there is nothing the human race can do about it. My solution is that we should transform ourselves by going back to where it all went wrong, before we was manipulated into this false light. I don't think it's a good idea to allow this esoteric elite, control us over the next matrix again. Then we will be stuck for like 26,000 years again, or at least 12,500 years again. And I don't think we have. Enough is enough, I would say. And we have to take back what they have stolen from us. And that's our birthright. They are parasites, and I think enough is enough. The human family have to evolve and go forward where we should go, have gone already.
Right, we should have been there already millions of years ago. This is it's insane.
This is completely insane, and
So
we need your experience should be to travel through dimensions and discover new metaphysical worlds, soul travel, travel to stars, and so on. Your body is only your vehicle. If you can travel whenever you want, if you can leave your body whenever you want, this ain't a prison. It's only a prison if they convince you that it is a prison and that you can't leave. And if that's become your mental state, then you have created your own prison through their lies.
And that's how they work, because they know very well that whatever you choose to believe in is what is created. So,
yeah,
absolutely.
And I say the esoteric elite is a nightmare enough to scare small children, but you are a terrible fucking nightmare, and it's time to awake.
Yeah, exactly. And they can consume their own nothing of essence into obliteration, as opposed to our essence,
Yeah.
We have to stop being the machine for them.
Yeah.
So I love this. This is wonderful. Now we're at the sound of silence.
Yeah, the sound of silence. I forgot I have a couple of, because I want to wrap it up as well. Yeah, there is something called the sound of silence, and that is when you withdraw into the darkness and when all the sound is shut down, you will be able to hear a new sound you have never heard before. And that's the sound of the universe. And if you start to play in tune with that sound, you will find your spark, and you will ignite your dormant DNA. And this sound is in tuned with the light. And it's like an orchestra. When you start to play this music, you can't be mesmerized by it, because then you just get into and play it. But rather, when you hear the sound playing it, and if you can stay there in this moment, you will see gaps open up in front of you where you can go through into a higher state of being and feel a more real energy, music, vibration. And there you will find the real you, in the sound of silence. And that is in the darkness. And that's a new idea will be born. A new idea what the human race can become, where we play a new music, a new tone that we never have heard or perceived of before. A new humanity. But it has to come from a new pure image, a new thought, what we can become, we haven't been thought about before. What you can't imagine, you can't manifest.
And going into the deep, right? Going into what I call the deep.
Yeah.
That is the only place it's, to me, it's like the alpha and the omega, because it's the place we were before we knew creation, before we were actually experiencing creation. It's the place that we come from. So that memory alone is the only place that can create the new consciousness, the thought that has not been thought before, for a new reality.
Exactly. Right. And this is the 22 strands of DNA. And of course, the scientists call it junk DNA. Everything they talk down to, everything they try to tell you, don't pay any attention to. You should. They distort and lie. Everything is a distortion. The 22 strands of DNA is very real. And you can use the Hebrew letters to ignite it. And that's also a method. And we can talk about it next time, but the method about these Hebrew letters and what it's all about and why you can use it.
My mind's like, bing, bing, bing. Yes, let's go into it next time. So we're functioning on 2 strands, right?
What?
We're functioning on 2 strands right now.
Yeah, I don't know how many we have, but I know that there are 22 strands shut down. Some say 12, but
no, I think it's 22.
Yeah, according to the watches, there is 22, and you have 22 Hebrew letters, and you have 22 paths on the Qliphothic tree, and every path on the Qliphothic tree is attributed to one Hebrew letter, and you can ignite it all if you go into the darkness.
I am very curious.
And remember, I talked about language. Before the Noah's flood, we have more form language. Now it's more force language, where each letter just, in Hebrew, you have a language in between the form that we had before. That was light, it was sound, mantra, kind of the vibrations. And then you have the runes, the Hebrew, the hieroglyphs, the cuneiforms. They are in between. And now we have the language that is based on force. It's a scientific language.
Where do you think the Hebrew language comes from? For it to be still ignited, where does that language come from, and what is that?
Yeah. I can only speculate, but there are manipulation going on in both both in the Enlil demiurge faction and by the Watchers. When Moses went up to Mount Sinai, they manipulated him in order to put in some very profound truth in the Old Testament. That if you unlock it, you will see a very powerful method in the left-hand path. And the Hebrew letter is one of those, I think, and the Cliffords. And I think that's the reason why Michelangelo portrayed him with horns. The statue of Moses have horns.
Makes sense.
So this war goes on both sides. This one side want to awaken us. They infiltrate the holy scriptures that should hold us at bay or in this prison. But if you start to understand it, you'll be able to read between the lines. Because that's the Watcher's signature.
Okay. We can go into that next time.
Yep.
That's very interesting.
So it's very... Don't throw out the Bible because there are things there. But what we should do is to go back to the womb, back to the darkness, and seed a new plant in complete darkness where the light cannot touch this plant. This plant is born out of complete darkness in the womb of Lilith. This is the seed of the new human. And because the light haven't touched this flower or this plant, it is not manipulated. And we need force and fire and masculine energy to allow this to grow and exit the womb of the feminine. And when it does, it is pure and strong enough to see through all the lies they have put into the light that will meet this plant when it leaves the soil, and it can withstand it, and the humanity will grow into a different species altogether.
And that's the masculinity you spoke of that is not the distorted version.
Exactly. Because we need it. We need willpower, fire to allow this new plant to grow. That's a new idea what humanity can become without the distortion, the manipulation, the lies, what humanity is, because it ain't. We can seed a new plant in the dark with a new idea what we can become, what humanity is. But we cannot allow this light manipulate the intent or pollute this plant. Seed it in the dark, seed it in Lilith's womb, and then we need fire and force to allow it to grow. And when it leaves, it hasn't been distorted. And it is powerful enough to withstand the light. When it will.
Amazing.
Then a new tree will break the surface, absent of light. But of course, the light will take over, but this time around, we can withstand it.
And it won't corrupt.
And it won't be corrupted, exactly.
Makes me think of the Black Sun.
Yeah. We have to go there as well. And we can talk about that one as well. Because it's about method. we can. The third part can be all about method, and we can take in the black sun because that's part of this as well.
That sounds good.
For sure. Yeah, this was all the 6th part of this presentation, I hope. It made sense. I try to tell you why I come to the conclusion I have and what to do about it.
It makes total sense, and it's very interesting because it brings me to the original Tree of Life, because you ended with the tree in darkness that will not be able to be corrupted by false light. So, this is brilliant the way that you're doing it to lead us into method and going deep into that. It's been brilliant. My mind is like choo choo choo. I've got so many things happening, but I'm gonna definitely leave it here because it's been 4.5 hours. You poor thing. It was brilliant. It was brilliant. Your artwork is amazing because it has a signature frequency that is very profound, and it speaks of everything you're speaking about. I just needed to say that.
Thank you. And because sometimes you also miss that people is a little bit bewildered and lost. So sometimes it's good to just go step by step, and because it's important that people understand where I come from and why I come to conclude what I have come to conclude, and the method follows my worldview, of course.
I think that's vital because it's really, really important for them to understand how to dispel fear and the MK Ultra techniques so that they really go into this with knowledge. So you explaining this all, I feel, is huge. And going deeper into it with the method is going to be, because the way we're doing it step by step, I think is perfect.
Same. It's very important because people have a lot of questions, and I understand it. You can't just jump into stuff. And I think I have explained my position. And I will go to the left-hand path and the Qliphothic tree, and I will do as much work as I can.